Next, in the 1960s, he ruled the West and the small screens of America. But when the Virginian rode off into the sunset, what led him to the Bayou City? We'll meet veteran film, stage, and TV actor James Drury next. Every rodeo season, our city comes to life celebrating the culture of the Wild West. It brings out the cowboy or cowgirl in all of us. But did you know one of the great cowboy stars of the small screen has called the Bayou City home for nearly 4 decades? In the 1960s, veteran actor James Drury tamed the Wild West on television in the series The Virginian. These days, the Virginian is now a Houstonian. And Drury looks back at his acting career with pride, knowing he not only helped usher in the king of rock and roll in the very first Elvis movie, but also the entire saga of Star Wars.
I've seen you before, haven't I? Could be. I can't place you, but I know I've seen you before. Could have been a lot of places.
You are kind of the city slicker and a country boy at heart all at the same time. Born in New York City,
yes,
and your mom was from Oregon, so you got to visit there as a child.
I got to visit there and live there. I made my first trip to Oregon when I was 6 weeks old, with my mom and dad and my older sister and about 4 cats, I think, in the car.
If we just look down the list of the things that you were in, in black and white there, it looks like, well, gosh, she was a working actor for quite some time, and it was easy, but something tells me it wasn't so easy to get those parts.
No. I did my first picture when I was 20 years old. I had finished my junior year in college and came out to the West Coast for a vacation and got a contract at MGM in 7 days. That was a Cinderella story. So.
Yeah.
Some fellas are quick to call a gal bad that won't have them.
That's the way it was.
I know.
You were with Elvis in Love Me Tender?
That's right. That was his first movie, and he had just come out and he'd never done any acting before, and he was just a fine young man, I must say. He was extremely eager to learn how to work in front of a camera and how to put the story across, and he was constantly asking questions and constantly interested in how the camera was operating, and he was just jumped into it with both feet.
Love me tender, love me sweet.
Personally, I think Love Me Tender may have been one of the best pictures he ever made because we had a good script. He was believable. He was believable. And the bottom line is, acting is the creation of the illusion of reality.
It's against my principles to kill anything. Unless I absolutely have to.
The golden age of television presents The Virginian, starring James Drury.
In doing The Virginian, I think sometimes we forget just what kind of work ethic it took back then. Things are a little bit different today, but you did 30 90-minute episodes of The Virginian.
That's 30 90-minute feature films, because there's 71 minutes and 30 seconds worth of film in each one. The rest is commercials, of course.
Yeah. And that's crazy. You don't see that today.
A lot of, there's never been another project like that. In fact, it was impossible to do it. We just didn't get the memo, We went ahead and did it anyway. Sometimes we'd have 4 or 5 sets, episodes going the same day. And sometimes I was in all 5 of them.
You can call him the Virginian. Everybody else does.
You the trail boss?
That's right.
Look who's here.
Well, if it isn't the Virginian himself.
I'm Judge Gar's foreman.
Hey, Virginian.
Hey, Ramrod. No offense.
So many times television reflects what's going on in a nation at the time, or a genre that's popular at the time. The American Western just spoke to the heart of Americana, and of course speaks to the heart of Texans.
Oh yes. Well, a Western has to show the triumph of good over evil.
Mm-hmm. Good morning.
It's a lovely morning.
Every morning I would know that I was going to the set to work with somebody wonderful. And you have to bring your game up to that. It constantly makes you raise your level of play to get to the point where you can at least stand on the same stage with these people.
You're not afraid.
Not with you. Not from the beginning.
At the same time that when you were in all the Westerns, it kind of reflected that Americana, that spirit that we needed so desperately at that time, we were also on the verge of something completely different, and that's that kind of space age type movies.
Oh,
We had
yeah.
Forbidden Planet.
Forbidden Planet.
Imagine yourself as one of the crew of this faster-than-light spaceship of the future.
At that time, we spent $5 million on that picture.
That's a lot.
And that was like $100 million today, or 50 anyway. And it was really the first true outer space picture that had been made with science in mind.
Star sapphires take a week to crystallize properly. Would diamond or emeralds do?
With that said, that was before man landed on the moon. Did you think man would ever land on the moon during that time you're making that movie?
Oh, no, I never thought. I certainly didn't. But I understand that George Lucas credits Forbidden Planet with some of his inspiration from this whole Star Wars thing. So I'm glad that helped.
Star Wars.
Here they come.
I think you should go in for a little piece of it.
No.
You should say, look, I was your inspiration.
I was just the crewman that was killed by the invisible monster, and that's not easy to do, believe me.
Tell you something. It's awful hard for a man to change his course. Keep moving on. The past always comes along to catch up with you.
You still love working. You're 80 and retirement is just not on your radar right now.
Since the show has started back on the air, the whole public appearance industry just jumped all over me, and I'm in constant demand, whether it's in Mandan, North Dakota, or Orlando, Florida, or Salem, Oregon, or wherever I have to go. I seem to go around 10 or 15 or 20,000 miles a year.
Wow.
In that car of mine. And I don't fly anymore because I don't want to put up with taking my boots off for anybody. So I just stay out of airports. I never see one, and that way I don't have any problem with Homeland Security or anybody. I get in the car and go, and I just keep traveling.
Yeah. Well, Virginian, we're certainly glad that you're a Texian.
Well, I'm certainly glad to be. I was telling him I've been here about 38 years. I think they're going to let me stay. Yeah.